Hi and good evening, good afternoon to all of you out there who will be jumping on, catching the replay, joining me on this fantastic topic, how to handle those pesky boo-boos on stage. And I love that title. I might repeat it a few times. So I'm back in my office and it feels really good having my things around me, my desk full of papers, and looking out the window, seeing what's going on. So yeah, it's been really nice to have my holiday, but now I'm back. And you know, sometimes when you go away and you have a break from things, you come back with new ideas and you feel refreshed and relaxed and you're ready to embark on new things. So that's what made me think about changing the date, changing the time, making a few changes. So do you like changes? Are you ready to make changes in your life too? So let's jump on board this fantastic topic, which is how to handle those pesky boo-boos on stage. And it's very interesting. It's all about confidence, isn't it? It seems to be the key to everything that we do, having some confidence. When we go to speak to people, when we want to share our stories, when we've got a book to launch, when we've got something to say to our boss, something to say to our employees, something to say to our friends and colleagues. We have to put our words together in order to be able to engage and connect. And we really need a bucket full of confidence for that, don't we? So it's really important to think about what is at the root of when you get up and speak, when you want to say something that's important to you. So I know that it's a big problem for many people. They have a lot of fears, a lot of nerves. They're put off very easily by speaking in public. The bad news is you've got to learn a few tricks. But the good news is you can learn. Everything is learnable. Is that a word? You can learn these things. There's no secrets. There's no, $1 million output to get an answer to it. You can learn to be confident. All these things are possible. So, one of the big problems is that because we have these fears, we stop ourselves from speaking in public. We say, we can't do it. It's not for me. I'll never be any good at it. And, if you've got a book to launch or advertise your product or your services, you need to be able to speak in public, to be able to put across your brilliant idea, your brilliant service. But, hey, life is not perfect and we make mistakes. We make boo-boos. We trip up. I think there's a whole pile of interesting words. We make blunders, boo-boos, fuffs and fluffs, gaffes and slips and trips and lapses and faux pas. And it's very interesting to know that in the English language, there are some 30 different words to cover the word mistake. You check out your thesaurus, you will see that there are just too many words for that. So there's a big emphasis on it, And when you talk about mistakes and errors, it leads to the word failure, doesn't it? So it really makes you feel uncomfortable, puts you off before you even start. I think that's the thing. So who's on board? Let's see who's on board. Carolyn, Jula. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. So yes, you're right, fear, but sometimes it's torture. Yes, it's torture, I know. So let's get into that, shall we? Because, let's just be clear about one thing. Speakers speak. Writers use dialogue. So they have to listen and, get into the conversations and make their stories conversational. And guess what? Women talk. So speaking is big business in every sense of the word. And it's something that we all learn to do when we're very young. And we hopefully learn and develop and grow these communication skills or not. And so being able to put across what we want in life is really important. And hopefully we learn this as we grow. And yet, I don't know, did you watch the BAFTAs on Sunday night? God, I was absolutely enthralled. It was so exciting. But it was also amazing how many of these really experienced actors, actresses, directors, presenters who've been, who do this as a profession, made tons of boo-boos and slip-ups and all those other words. And I actually counted and made a list of, they went through all the same things that we go through. There is the shaky hands, the sweaty palms, the dry throat, the quivering lips, the jigging from one foot to the other, the banging the hands and the ring on the podium, forgetting lines, strangling your notes. How many times have you done that? Strangling up your notes, fumbling and mumbling, not breathing, not pausing. I mean, we do all those, and we've done all of those, haven't we? And, even these very experienced people at the BAFTAs did, went through all these horrendous things, these torture, as you said, paralyzing experience. Yes, it can be very frightening, but there are tips and tricks and exercises that you can do to make your life easier. So let's get chucked in. The thing is that when we do feel tortured and paralyzed, as you say, these are good words, these are really good words. When you feel that, then what does it do? It makes you stop. It makes you give up. It makes you turn your head away. You never want to do it again. It's not for me. I can't do this. I'll never be any good at this. And you start to, really put yourself down. Itchy nose. You're ready to put yourself down, and you put yourself off from ever doing it again. And, that's just about the worst thing you can do. So, what happens to you when you have done a speech or done a talk or presented something in front of somebody and you think it hasn't gone well because you made a mistake, a boo-boo, an error? What happens to you? What do you feel? Pop your comments in there. Tell me what happens to you when you think you've done a poor presentation, a poor performance. Yeah, tell me what you think. What we're saying, standing in front of an audience and speaking is paralyzing. Torture and paralyzing. Oh my God, those are tough words, aren't they? So, okay, well look, I'll tell you a story what happened to me many years ago when I was traveling out on the east coast of the United States with a poetry performance team. 4 of us were in the team, and we went out to attend a very prestigious slam competition, which is a competition, a contest between different teams, and very prestigious competition in Boston. But the British sense of humor and presentation and storytelling was a sort of, we had mixed reactions. It didn't always go down well. You could see people, the American audience didn't always get what we're saying or get our humor or understand us, as we don't there sometimes. So there were these cultural differences going on. Anyway, there I was, ready to go on and do my thing. And what happens is that they pick 10 to 15 people from the audience who will put up scorecards, rather like in some of the Olympic events, where they put up a scorecard that says 9.1, 8.6, or in my case, 5.2. But anyway, you just go on, show business, right? You just get on with it. And there I was. It was my turn to get up on the stage and do my 3-minute piece. It's very strict, very heavily timed. And I get up there full of nerve. I've got a herd of butterflies in my stomach, buzzing and flapping around, dying to get out. And I am nervous. I'm tortured and paralyzed, as you say. And I get up on the stage, and the first thing I do is hesitate. And I look from left to right. Where's the signal to start? Well, I missed the signal. So I'm already cutting back on the time that I have to do my piece. And it's quite tight. It's a 2-minute, 45-second piece. And, I've already lost time. So I'm even more nervous. And, I'm starting to fumble, and, my mouth goes dry. I start licking my lips far too many times. It doesn't look good. Does not look good when you do it too often. And I really thought I made a complete mess of it. I'm making too many funny faces. I get to the end of the piece. I'm sure I missed out lines. And there's no recording, so I didn't know. So I'm feeling really bad. And I get off the stage going like this, oh my God, you know, thinking about it, worrying about it. And then, you know what happens? People come up to me afterwards and they want to pay dollars to buy my poetry pamphlet. So they actually want to spend money on what I did. And I think to myself, oh, it's because they feel sorry for me. No, there's nothing to do with that. They like what I did. They want to read more. They want to know more. They like my style. They like my expression. They said it. So there's me overthinking and imagining a drama in my head that's never really happened at all. I sold 10 books that night. 10 books. I ran out of books. I had to go and print more. So what we're saying here, extremely difficult to give a humorous feature for an obvious mistake. Well, yes, that's the art. But those are the things that you can learn. You can learn these tricks. So, you know, I made loads of boo-boos and have continued to. I mean, you name the boo-boo, I guarantee I did it. So let's see, you know, how we can overcome some of these things. I've got lots of tips and tricks on how we can actually overcome them. So the first one is, don't overthink. Don't spend time worrying about what your audience thought about you and all those negative things that we do. You know, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I should have done this, I. It's not about you. That audience is not thinking about what you did wrong. They are thinking about the value you gave and the good things. It's about the praise. It's about the applause that they gave you. You know, we tend to think about ourselves far too much, but let me tell you, they're not thinking about you. I mean, that's the fact. That's the truth of it. They're not worrying about you. What you're saying, if I was paid for my mistakes, I'll be very rich by now. You see, there's a really good joke there. And, you know, you'd be really surprised that audiences are not thinking about that. So I'll give you an example. So when Frances McDormand got up to receive her BAFTA award for leading actress on Sunday night, she got up there, she said a couple of words, held up the wonderful statue and said, oh my God, I've gone blank. So she actually admitted the going blank bit, you know, which there you are, an experienced actress who's been working, you know, 25, 30 years in the business, very successful, won a few awards. She admitted it. And that's it. You admit your mistakes because, you know what? You're human and the audience will feel that you're human. You know, everybody's going on nowadays about being authentic and being real. Well, that's real. That's really real. You know, admitting your mistake. And then, you know, she made a few funny faces. She could have made a joke. She could have come up with a funny line. She could have blamed somebody or something. There is 1,000 ways that you can get out of it when you admit it. When you don't make a big thing about it and think it's all about you. Because it's not all about you, it's about your audience. So when you admit it, whatever the blunder is, you know, I've dropped bottles of water, I've had a heel break on me, I've knocked over the microphone. I can't tell you how many stupid, silly little boo-boos, bigger mistakes, smaller mistakes that I've made. And I've learned to handle them by admitting them or coming up with a joke, a line, looking around and saying something to the audience, engaging with them, letting them know that you're human. And this can happen to even, you know, people receiving awards. So that's really important, number one. You know, don't think it's about you because people really don't remember your mistakes. And if you forget a line, nobody knows that line is not there. Okay, now if you're reading some technical information and you miss out a really important piece of data or a line, it will be noticed. But you can say that, wait a minute, something's missing. Let me go back to my notes. It's human. Nobody expects you to be perfect. Hey, that's it. Nobody expects you to be perfect. And if they do, then it's their problem. Isn't that what we talk about all the time? We're not perfect, we're human. What do you think? Is that something that resonates with you? Is that a problem that you have too? Feeling that you've got to be perfect? Let me know. Put your comments in. It'd be really nice to hear and get some chit chat going. So, number 2, this is show business, right? This is how it works. And whether you're giving a corporate talk, whether you're talking to a group of mums, whether you've got a service or a product, or you're working in a really big audience, it's about entertaining, engaging, connecting. It's an entertainment. It's a performance. It's a presentation. You can choose any word you like. It's all of them. It's all of them together. And people come to hear you speak because they want to gain knowledge, and they want to be entertained. They want to go away feeling inspired and motivated with something in their hands, for the money that they've paid out. So you have to know your stuff. You have to be wise about what you know. Really rehearse and prepare well. Know your stuff. Know it well. And if you make a mistake, then you're forgiven. But don't go on stage and not know your stuff well. Don't think you can just wing it and pretend it and just go for it. That very seldom works. Some people do it, and some people do it very well, but they're usually extremely experienced people. Comedians never do it. They rehearse and they rehearse and they work really hard. Even if they say they don't prepare, they have some notes. And people who do speeches, they have a mind map, they write things out, they learn things. Everybody has a technique to do their work, but they prepare really well. So know your stuff. What are you saying here? Although my mistakes were my best teachers, I'm skilled at clumsy chap. Well, there you go. That happens. My chapess. That does happen, but you're human, and that's what the audience will feel from you. So the other thing is practical steps. And this is controversial for some people, but you have to be smart. Don't drink too much before you go on stage. If you think you need a schluck of vodka or a little tipple of whiskey, be prepared, know your limits, because the last thing that you want is to go blank because of the whiskey, to fall over the microphone because you're drunk or a bit tipsy. So, look after yourself, care for yourself. Look after number 1. Make sure you sleep well before a big speech, that you've eaten a meal 2-3 hours before so you don't feel bloated, that you drink plenty of water. That's really important too. That you feel you're doing things beforehand to make yourself feel good. So this comes on to the next one. Surround yourself with people who encourage you, who support you. Do you like to do yoga? Do you do breathing exercises? Do you do meditation? Do you drink a smoothie? Whatever it is that makes you feel good, do that before your show, before your performance, before your activity, before you go out there and do your thing. Now, when I was on stage regularly on doing music and on theatre and performance, my particular routine was to jump up and down a lot. I used to get that energy going. I'd shake my arms, move them about, and really get the breath going. Shake, shake, jump, jump, and listen to music. You see a lot of boxers do that. A lot of musicians will still do that. They, do music, listen to music. Whatever it is, find your thing that makes you feel good and energized before you go on. Because that's really important. At some of the big conferences, they have really powerful music that plays before a speaker comes on, an expert comes on, and it pumps up the audience, it pumps up the speaker. So if that's your thing, get your company or the event where you're performing to put on some big music. If that's your thing. Find out what is it that turns you on, that makes your energy rise, so that when you get on stage, you're really pumped up to give value and make your offer fantastic. And if you feel a bit nervous, admit it, it's normal. What we're saying here, I never practice mistakes. How comes I'd be so skilled to make boo-boos? Yes, this is humor, and I think, you know, let me add something to it. It's very important to lighten up and not take things so seriously. Please have some fun. You know, people go out to listen to you, to learn, but they also want to enjoy. So make sure you smile, have some fun. And if you make a boo-boo, you make a mistake, you know, let your audience know that you are human by lightening up and enjoying it, laughing at your own mistakes. It's not a difficult thing to do, really. So those are the 4 or 5 things that I'm talking about today to help you handle those pesky boo-boos. And, you know, let me know what you think. If this is something that causes you problems, stops you from speaking, closes down that great potential that you have, prevents you from getting out there and doing it, then, you know, let me know. Give me your opinions. Is this something that stops you? Do you agree with what I've said? Maybe you disagree. Come on. Tell me if you disagree. Tell me if you don't think it's that easy. You know, let me know why. I'd love to hear your opinions, and we can have a good discussion about it, that's for sure. So, you know, these are the 4 or 5 things that I've said. Number 1, don't overthink. It's not about you, it's about the audience. Nobody in the audience is judging you or criticizing you in the way you think they are. Really, believe me, it's not that big. And number 2, you know, you need to know your stuff. You really need to learn your material, be confident about it, because when you know it well, then you feel proud, don't you? When you feel, I know this. And if you're feeling nervous, it's kind of, you know, all these people that got up to receive awards at the BAFTAs, okay, they were actors, they could have been acting, you could say that, but, you know, it's, certain things are not easy to do, and to do continuously, even if you are an actor, because I bet you've been in the bathroom practicing your award speech and you were holding up something, you know, this fantastic gift. What is this? This fantastic gift that I received, and this award, the prize that you received. I bet you've done that in front of the bathroom mirror and pretended that you've got a reward, and you thank all the people that you know. And then what do you say? It is a difficult activity to do. And I remember in Toastmasters, I had to do a couple of award speeches, one where I was presenting it and one when I was receiving it. And, you know, you've got to think up all these stories on the spur of the moment. It's not easy. That's why you see so many actors and presenters prepare their little speeches. But that's human. That's what people do. It's not the end of the world. So, you know, remember, it's not about you. Know your stuff well. That's very, very important. Know your stuff really well. And take practical steps to look after yourself. Take care of yourself before you go on and do your thing. You know, look after yourself well, eat well, drink well, sleep well. These are things you hear all the time, looking after number 1. Dress comfortably. You don't want buttons popping open, or, you know, like men, they put their hands in their pockets. I think they should sew up the pockets on men's trousers. That's just me. You know, be comfortable when you go on stage. Look good and feel comfortable. And surround yourself with people who support you. It's very important that you have your, you know, your groupies, your dream team, the people that love what you're doing, who support you, because, you know, you can learn to be confident. You can learn to be confident. I've learned them. I've learned all sorts of exercises and daily practices to make me more confident in what I do. It's not a permanent thing. It's not about being confident in everything that you do in life every day, all the time. No, because you're not perfect. But when it comes to the important things, you know how to bring in this confidence, because they are skills and exercises and abilities that you can learn. Surrounding yourself with people who support you. Omo, thank you for joining me. Yes, my darling, it's very true, and you know that. You know that very well. You have to have a good support team. So, you know, one thing I've learned from doing all these, making all these pesky boo-boos in my life on the many stages I've been on, because, you know, my background is in the entertainment industry, and I've worked as a musician, performance poet. I've done playwriting and script writing. I've been on every corner of a stage you can imagine. So I know what it's like to feel small, and I know what it's like to be tall, and all the different positions in between. And it is, you know, you want to feel good when you give value. You want to feel confident when you're out there sharing your experiences and the wonderful things that you've learned in your life. It's very important that you have that strength, confidence, but you can learn it. I like that, pesky boo-boos. It's good, isn't it? So this is what I want to say to you. So imagine having the confidence to stand up and talk about your opinions, your ideas, your experiences, and your business. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't you feel fantastic? Can you imagine being up there? You know, put yourself up on a really fantastic big stage, and the audience have been listening to this upbeat music, and there you are. You walk onto that stage, ba-dam, and it's you. It's all about you. Wouldn't that be amazing? And on top of that, you not only get paid for it, but you get kudos, and people come up to you afterwards and they want your signature. No, they want you to buy your book. They want to buy your service. It's a wonderful feeling. Can you imagine that? Wouldn't that be great? Because confidence is something that anybody and everybody can learn. Really. That's how I did it. I learned it. Sometimes the hard way. Sometimes it didn't work and I had to go back and do those exercises. But you can do it. Really. You can learn it. So if this is something that you would like to do, I would love to work with you, because I can show you how to develop your confidence, gain courage, and multiply your actions. Yes, you can gain courage and you can multiply your actions by growing and building confidence. So don't hesitate to schedule a free chat with me, you know, where we can get down to business and find out what it is that holds you up, and plan something, customize something that's special for you. So you can also check out my webpage, the 3 W's and my name, Georgia Vargas, where you can find loads of articles. I've got more than 80 articles full of tips and tricks and steps and exercises, simple, strategic and practical steps that you could take to, you know, learn how to build your confidence, gain courage, and get out there and do the business. So let me know what you think. Pop in your comments and your opinions. You agree? You disagree? I'd love to hear from you, whatever you think. You think this is too easy? Let me know. You think it's too hard? Let me know. And schedule that free chat with me, you know. There's nothing to lose. Thank you so much, everybody, for being with me. And if you caught this, if you've been catching the replay, or you need to go back to the beginning and listen to the beginning of this, because it's full of great stuff, then you do that and you can pop your comments in and I'll get back to you. And we can have a good conversation about this, because this is a very big topic. It's not something that you can solve overnight. These are things that you need to work on. And all of us know the value of investing in ourselves and working with people to develop those skills to get things going. So let's just have a look if there's any more comments coming up here. Power lady. Thank you, my darling. Well, I appreciate all the people who popped in and came on, and I really enjoyed being here with you tonight. And this is my new Wednesday night Showtime special. Probably as the clocks change, we'll go an hour later. But it's now time to go and relax a little bit. The evening is just beginning. Here we go. It's 6:30, 8:30. It's 6:30 in the evening over here. And I hope you have a beautiful evening wherever you are. And I know you're going to get turned on by this live show tonight. So big hugs, big kisses to all of you out there. And we are going to be meeting again in a week's time with another hot topic. Ciao, everybody.